Hello and welcome back to Niner Sports Talk. I am your host, Blake, and today I'm joined by co-host Spencer Tritt. Spencer, what's going on?
Oh my gosh, what a week this has been. This is every week we start because it's always a week. It's always every week always feels like the longest week in Charlotte 49er sports history.
Was this week,
gosh,
the aftermath of the Mike Hill dilemma.
It kind of set itself up for a new dilemma.
Oh, yes.
We left, I guess last episode and heading into Saturday thinking that it can't get much worse than firing your athletic director.
I think hopes were high.
Mid-season. I don't know that hopes were high.
Well,
I think you're
as
lying
high as they
bit.
can be at this point in the season when you're entering
they were still
Saturday's
bad.
Game
They weren't
with
good
only one
hopes.
win.
The hopes were that it can't be 42 straight points Saturday in our homecoming game.
Yeah, because it was actually, if you can believe it, it was actually 7-7 at one point.
It was a tie game.
Football was actually 7-7. If listeners aren't following, because
if for some reason
jumped right into it, but football is
kind of the main sport right now for campus. I think
which is unfortunate too.
It dictates the mood a lot on campus right now. I think you ask people about the football team, and their answer is usually, "Oh, do you see we lost? Or is Alvin going to get fired this week? Or is this or that happening?"
That's just the nature with how big college football is, though.
Yeah,
too.
And I think it's a risk that Charlotte sports accepted to take when you start a football program and you decide that that's what you want to do with your school and be, a football program school. Then these are the issues that you're gonna come into. If we're gonna talk about Charlotte sports this week, we got to talk about the men's soccer team.
Yes, we definitely will get to the men's soccer team. Yeah. That will be a segment. Basketball is also getting started up too.
I don't really know that we have much to talk about football.
Yeah, really. I think this episode is going to be
positivity there?
Maybe trying to find a silver lining out of the North Texas game, the upcoming game this weekend.
There's not.
Yeah, but it's difficult to talk about a program that there's really not a whole lot going on in the positives. I know I said this last week that it's like, it can be really draining from a fan perspective. I'm sure all of our listeners know that very well, that it can be really draining to keep following. But I think we've got some highlights in some other sports that will hopefully maybe lessen some tensions. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
As I was driving into campus today, the women's soccer game was about to kick off. Mm-hmm. And my first thought was, oh boy, I wish that the women's soccer team was nearly as popular as the football team. Yeah. Because they're having a good year.
Really, both soccer teams I wish were just as popular.
I wish that the vibe of the school went off of how is the soccer team doing, or the basketball team, or even in the spring, baseball or softball, or right now, of course, with volleyball as well. But instead, it's based around football. And when you're a football-based economy, I guess, for emotion.
I would say, when your society places so much weight on one particular game, one particular sport, when your school is not very good at it, or when your town or NFL team or whatever isn't very good, doesn't help.
I kind of thought about this, and I know we've touched on this before, but I want to ask you, and I don't think I've asked you point blank this question. What does it mean to be a 49er anymore? Is there an identity with being a 49er, or is it just a word we call ourselves now? Is it just I saw a lot of the homecoming content this week on social medias from last week, and a lot of the norm and old norm stuff. And as weird as that is, those posts made me think, well, these people that grew up with old norm, right? They might have loved being a 49er. They might have loved going to, maybe the football team had just started. Maybe the football team was just about to start when you graduated. Maybe the basketball team was special and winning the Atlantic 10 or winning or competing in the Metro Conference, right? These little things that, were a little bit more positive. But now we've reached a point where I'm looking at Norm, and for some reason, I'm in disgust. I look at him like, I don't even know that I want to do this anymore. Yeah. Do I even want to be a 49er anymore? Has this lost its way? So
I will say one thing. I don't think I've ever studied more in a semester now than I have this past semester, frankly, because there just is not a whole lot else to really do. the football team is good, but I skipped out on the exhibition game for basketball because I had an exam the next day, but also it was because I was like,
you missed a good time.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And now that I know that, though, there's no chance that I'm missing Mondays.
I think
Mondays.
I think we should just skip the rest of the football conversation. There's not much about conversation.
We can come back to football at the very end. What we'll do is we will sort of preview this weekend and potentially recap this previous weekend, because at the end of the day, it was a game and it did happen. And I think as good podcast hosts that we do need to recognize that it's a thing and it happened.
We also have to keep our sanity in check. I think the issue has been maybe too much football focus.
Yeah, I do think it's kind of crazy that we have to wait until November before we get basketball.
Yeah.
Like, I would love if we shove it up.
Did get a game in October.
That's fair.
The exhibition
game.
And
I wish that soccer was more popular, because that's been going on just as long as football has and is infinitely more successlook
I mean, anything compared to the football team is infinitely more successful. We're in the 130s. If you want to, look at the. There's a great account on
130s. Yeah, that sounds about right.
There's a great account on Twitter, or I guess formerly Twitter. And I'm so sorry I can't remember the username right now while I'm talking about it. But he does the top 700 football teams in the country. He does the three divisions of NCAA football, and then includes the NAIA as well. And does the top 700. And we, always rank at the bottom of his rankings for Division I FBS. There's even some FCS teams we fall behind. And I think that at this point, for our sanity, we maybe need to taper off the football a little bit.
Yeah, I
because
think
it doesn't seem like it's going to get much better.
Episode for sure.
I mean, tomorrow's game for some reason is the first game I've been to this year. I don't know why I picked North Texas of all games to go to first, but I thought, you know what?
This will be the third game that I've been to.
It's a Friday night game. Got to go check out the stadium again. Haven't been since last year's final home game of the year.
I want to ask you and any listeners listening as well who may have also picked up on this, but they got rid of the grandstands,
the fake ones, the temporary ones,
the high school bleachers. Basically, is what they were. They were glorified high school bleachers. They had put them in there. I imagine for the Chapel game. But then they kind of floated around for a little bit, and then they were completely gone this weekend, or this previous weekend that was. So I don't know.
I think that honestly the fan interest isn't there. I mean, obviously they were there for the Chapel Hill game because everybody wants to see.
And they were there for good reason. They were full for Chapel.
Game.
I mean, there was a lot of people at that Chapel game. It was the first game of the season, second game of the season.
Second game, first one at home, even though we didn't play the game against App State in Uptown.
Yeah. Oh, right. I get. Well, that's like a home adjacent game.
It's kind of like when Villanova or Georgetown will play college basketball in their NBA arenas. It's home, but it's not quite it's not the bed you sleep in, right? Yeah. It's like going to your aunt's house for the night instead of, being in your own house. It's in the same city, but it doesn't really,
That's a decent analogy,
you don't really remember where the fridge is.
Yeah, so I think that's, I don't know, that maybe says something. I don't know, maybe it doesn't. Maybe that was their plan all along.
It probably, We have to think positively and say it maybe was the plan all along. But, I mean, you look at the stands, even for the homecoming game, after the first half, I mean, even before the first half was over, it was looking desolate.
If you think about it, it begs the question, in about a year or so, those stands are going to be permanent. So if we're getting rid of them now and we're not being able to fill them now, why are we spending $50 million to build permanent ones when we don't even really need them now?
I spent a lot.
That's my question. That if we're getting rid of them, then why are we building permanent ones?
I thought about that last week too, and it crossed my mind thinking if the student section in particular looks so barren, which has become a topic of conversation throughout college football.
Yes, I wrote an entire paper on it last year about just college students and their
they don't stay for the whole game.
Basically what it was is
it's not just a Charlotte problem.
It was a timeline of when in society did we start seeing when did we start seeing drop-offs in student fan attendance at just any game, not just football, but any sporting event, and up until now, obviously. And it was interesting. It was a good little research that I did into sort of what
is causing
what's
that
causing
decline.
this, and there were quite a few things causing it. Just like
I think that there's a pretty easy answer for Charlotte.
The biggest things that I found were just the number one biggest thing across all universities, not just Charlotte, because obviously Charlotte is the team's bad, we're not going. Yes. But there are a lot of colleges that do have good programs that the students still they're struggling with fan attendance, and it's because of the digital ease of access that anybody with the ESPN Plus subscription can go watch a Charlotte football game, or anybody with a anybody can go to a local bar or a local restaurant or whatnot and see the game being broadcasted on one of the TVs. And it's a much more enjoyable experience. It's a cheaper experience. That was another thing that I found, was just that the concession prices, they have no business charging $7 for a hot dog when the team is down by 30-something points.
The prices of the food should go down when the team is doing worse.
32 points, yeah.
I think they should drop them. The concession prices should drop a little bit, but
that would get a lot of students if it was like $1 hot dogs.
Yeah, every touchdown we
could you imagine?
Don't score. I guess every touchdown the opposing team
because they don't want to encourage the team to be bad.
Drops by $1.
They don't want to encourage the team to be bad. It's like how the basketball team. It's like how the basketball team, if they in the last 8 minutes of the game, they'll give you a free Bowberry biscuit.
I think it's a Bowberry biscuit.
No, free chicken sandwich.
Oh, then who does the biscuit?
The biscuits is the Hurricanes.
It's also a UNC thing.
Oh, okay. Well, so you get if the Hurricanes score on a power play, you get a free Bowberry biscuit.
Yep, that is right. And it used to be a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
And if basketball, Charlotte men's basketball doesn't allow or allows what is it? It's
take your time.
They can't. The opposing team can't score two consecutive free throws in the last 8 minutes. If the fans, so to speak, make it happen, they award us with the following day a free chicken sandwich at any participating Charlotte Chick-fil-A location.
I'm gonna use that to transition into the next topic, which is fair. The men's basketball exhibition game this week.
Yeah, great transition.
Because when I was there, the fans were chanting, "We want biscuits" at some point during the game, and either that or I have lost my hearing.
Yeah, we want biscuits, we want chicken, something
they
like
were
that.
Yelling, they wanted food during the free throws, which I didn't know it accounted for the exhibition game against North Carolina Wesleyan. Now, I attended that game, one of the first basketball games I've been to that I actually stayed for the whole game.
Yeah.
I was doing my journalistic duty of sticking around and taking notes and checking out the team. And I got to say, either I have become so negative about football that anything different makes me happy, or this team might be sneaky good.
No, that's actually the consensus that I've heard from a number of students that I've talked to who did go to the game, and then also just media. There's really not a whole lot of, since it was an exhibition game, there's not a whole lot of media about it. No. Like there's no highlights, there's no box score.
Yeah, there's a lot from the fan accounts.
Yeah,
online,
it was kind of just a middle of the week or early in the week thing. Just sort of get the guys ready, get the guys back in the swing of things. What I wanted to ask you about though is, there's only a handful of returning players, maybe 2, 3.
Yeah, I think it's a very small. Only returning starter.
Yeah, there was 2 return players that started.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, did you see any improvement between the two compared to last season?
I thought, obviously,
most notably, the one that I have my eye on is Kylan Blackman, because he started. If I
he played pretty well.
Twitter pretty well. But the thing was, he struggled last year because everybody said that Kylan Blackman was supposed to be this, great wing player, just automatic from 3. He was gonna take a Igor Milicic, role when Milicic left for Tennessee. R.I.P. Well, he's not dead, but his time at Charlotte is
he's no longer a 49er. I'll say a couple things.
He was a little I'll let you answer. But I wasn't impressed last season, but I was glad to see him back on the roster because any familiar name these days in NIL is a fantastic thing. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, how do you think Blackman fared?
I thought Blackman played pretty well. A lot of what I saw, and I'm going to be completely transparent with the audience here. Mm-hmm. My Charlotte 49ers basketball watching experience only started 2 years ago. This was not a team I followed closely, not a team I really knew much about. I didn't even know we made a Final Four until I was at the freshman and transfer student. Shout out all my transfer students out there.
Well, it's National Transfer Student Week.
It is National Transfer Student Week.
So shout out.
Hey, we all have to start somewhere, right? So, and I came from a community college. It's not like I transferred from one of the, other schools, right? We didn't have any athletics there, so I feel good about that. But
not sure you've got much of an improvement.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's almost like we barely have any athletics.
Yeah, I was going to say. Some days I wake up, I wonder if having none is better than having.
It certainly feels that
ones.
It might be. But no, I was going to say. So obviously, the 2023-2024 team was
incredible.
It was better than anything we'd seen in a long time, and especially in a tough conference like the American. They played really well. Obviously, the season didn't end how you wanted to. I know you were there at the tournament.
Yep. I bring it up probably once a week.
Yeah. It was devastating. But, at the end of the day, it was a good season to build on. And then obviously you have a massive roster turnover.
Yes.
You have a coaching situation that – did Fern leave? Or no, so Fern came in – last year, 2 years ago.
He was interim in. So basically, what had happened is my freshman year, so the 2022 fall of 2022, spring of 2023 is when we had Ron Sanchez.
That's right. And
Ron Sanchez quit. I'm pretty sure during the conference tournament or something like that. It was a really inconvenient time to quit as a head coach. And so that next season, they hired interim Fern. He wasn't set in stone, though, but I think right before the ECU game and, Fernville blew up, right after Fernville maybe, they solidified him as head coach. So he basically had an entire year.
As the interim. And then we filled in a weird time.
Because he was the interim, but he coached that first game, though.
So I do want to say about Fern, one thing it seemed like based off of 2023 and then obviously last year, he coaches better with bigger players than he does with smaller guys. Last year's roster, obviously massive roster turnover, went a little bit smaller than it did in the previous year.
Yes, they really
looked like they suffered from
small ball.
It looked like they were not as successful because of that. And, the way I saw it, Monday's game, obviously, again, being an exhibition, the players that did play, which was a lot of the roster, really got in and got minutes, and you got to see everybody. I was really impressed by Spencer Elliott. That's a name to watch for this year. Spencer Elliott is going to be, I don't want to say a star in the American Conference, but he's going to be somebody that you're going to hear a lot about, hopefully, if, everything goes to plan. But, I thought, Blackman played well. Again, everybody had about 10 points, it felt like, which was ideal. That's what you want to see in an exhibition game. Nobody really missed a lot of open shots. And the defense, North Carolina Wesleyan kept it as close as they could, I'll say. There was one point where I think it might have been, 11-11 or 13-13, and you're like, oh my gosh, please tell me we're not going to play close with North Carolina Wesleyan.
Right.
And then they put the foot on the gas and took off. And that's what you want to see out of the team. Obviously it's, smaller school, weaker competition you're going to play, especially coming up. We got, Indiana State, who has been a perennial contender in the Missouri Valley Conference. Shout out Arch Madness and St. Louis, where they host that tournament. I love the name Arch Madness. I just want to throw that in there somewhere. And former Missouri Valley Conference team, Wichita State, who has been in the American for a couple
quite
years.
A while, yeah.
So, they're basically, an American team now, but still interesting to throw it in there. I'll say this. I think if this team can play as good as they can, right, if they can be as... Again, I really like the bigger lineup. I like the fact that they seem to stretch the floor a lot more. It's not as clustered as it looked last year. There was a point last year where it felt like every possession ended in a missed, 3-point shot or a failed attempt to drive to the basket. Nothing ever competed. They weren't even really drawing a lot of fouls at some points. It just was like you were just missing opportunity after opportunity, and you couldn't turn around the court and defend anybody.
It was strange because it's not like what we're seeing with football, where that is just a complete disaster.
Yeah.
It was like
there's hope.
There was so much hope, and coming off of such an incredible season, I think that expectations were so high, but also they came out and it was like let's say let's say they were the season before, they didn't go to the conference tournament, and it was like, well, I mean, everybody goes to the conference tournament.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like, there was no shot that we were going to even win it. Like, whereas the year before, it was like, hey, if y'all tried, they definitely could have won. I think if we were coming off of not a great season and then went into last season and performed exactly the same, I don't think people would have been as disappointed. Yeah. I think it's because it's like if you're watching two movies in one day. And you watch
Barbenheimer.
You still like Well, some people liked Barbie, but
I like Barbie.
I liked Oppenheimer, and I never
Barbie
saw
took
Barbie.
like 45 minutes when you see Oppenheimer first.
My analogy would have been like it's like we watch Interstellar and then Sharknado.
Yeah.
Whereas if we had watched Sharknado and then Interstellar, or like if we had watched Sharknado and then like a normal movie.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been as bad. But it's that we went from a fantastic season to it's fun every now and then, but most of it's slop. Most of it's pretty embarrassing, pretty bad. That's, I feel like, what Sharknado is to last season.
I feel like a lot of the issue...
Crazy analogy, but if you guys followed, that made sense.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the issue was that there was a obvious proof of concept. Yeah. That this could work under Fern and that this could work with his style of basketball. And then last year, it didn't feel like any of that concept was even written down, right? It felt like it was a proof of concept that you lost the notes on, right?
Right.
And that you're just trying to rebuild it without really knowing what you're doing.
That's what it seemed. It seemed like they were just... It seemed like, I don't know, maybe Fern got comfortable and I'm not actually...
And I think, again...
But... I don't know, but it did seem like the team had zero direction, zero purpose, zero. They were just sort of.
I mean, with the NIL landscape and just college basketball in general, with the high roster turnover, it is hard to
it's almost
not
impossible.
Return a starting core and not return even the bench players you turn to, right? When you're really just starting over and saying, "Hey, see what we did last year? Do you want to try this again and see if it works?" But now you have to play with whole new chess pieces. It doesn't work the same way, right? And I think the issue, for Fern was that he wasn't ever really, not that he got comfortable. I think the issue was that he wasn't comfortable, that he wasn't used to what he had to coach with. And even throughout the whole season, you're kind of just struggling to figure out if, hey, are these our guys? These feel like these could be our guys, but you don't really know which one falls into what role. You don't know which guy, plays what position. And you kind of just get stuck in this whole world of missing shots, missing scoring opportunities, not defending well. And you're lost almost. You're looking for a direction that doesn't seem to find its way. I will say we are ranked in the preseason American Conference polls last. We are not going to be last.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We are not going to be last. This is a good basketball team. This is a team that really looked like they had fun together. I mean, they were giving each other a hard time. They were giving Coach Fern a hard time as he, tried to shoot a shot in warm-ups. And it's these kind of camaraderie moments that you can say, hey, yes, it's a large roster turnover. Yes, there's only 2 returning players. But this team seems like they enjoy being around each other. It seems like they're just going to hit a rough patch in, whether it's December or January, where things aren't going to go right, but they seem like they like each other enough to turn around and say, let's work. Let's get this going, which I don't think last year's team had. No disrespect to them, obviously, but, it just didn't seem like they were built for tough moments, where I think this year's team seems like if they do hit a rough patch, they'll be okay.
Yeah, I actually... So now that I'm thinking about it, I think we all and especially in the media, put so much emphasis and so much thought into roster turnover because that's how the landscape is. But my thought is, it only takes one.
Yeah.
It only takes one team. It only takes one group of guys to prove that with a completely new roster, you can still be competitive. For that stigma, for that,
and obviously in
for that idea to sort of go away. We need one team that, this team is completely different, but it doesn't matter because they're all dogs, because they all can ball. And then we have another 23-24 season, and it's like...
I will say, in college basketball, obviously, more so than college football, the smaller conference teams do find a way to compete.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's not abnormal. I mean, it wasn't abnormal a couple years ago that FAU was ranked when they came into Halton Arena, and they were coming off a Final Four run. They were coming off a national title, or no, sorry, they lost to San Diego State, who went to the national title game against UConn. My bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, like we mentioned, Wichita State. The only reason they're even in the American is because they went to the Final Four and the next year had an undefeated season.
Yeah.
Like, they played their way into our conference. And we've talked about Memphis before. Memphis is probably at the point now where they're probably, I'd say, too good to be in the American.
I think they are.
Not in football. Hey, I don't know that we would lose to UAB with a interim head coach, in football. Memphis lost to UAB with an interim head coach who I don't even think had coached a football game as a head coach before.
Yeah.
And they lost. So, say what you want about the 49ers. I don't know that we would have done that. But Memphis, again, another team that can say is like a perennial contender in the American, if not the standard in the American for basketball. And
I honestly,
Houston was just in our conference less than 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And they probably should have won a national title last year if they had not. Didn't that game end with an up and down or something? It was a weird call.
Strange. It was a strange
call. It was a
call,
travel maybe late against Florida in the national title game. But regardless, this is a conference that you can look at the American and say, these teams can compete. These teams are not.
Yeah.
It's not like we're in, no disrespect to the American, conference's, I'd say, counterparts, right? But, the Atlantic 10 is a decent conference. But, where we're coming from, I'd say we're better off in the American than we are in the Conference USA or, again, the Atlantic 10 or, some of these other conferences, the CAA, these one-bid conferences. We're in a conference that you can realistically look at the American and say, if 3 teams came out of there in the tournament, you wouldn't be surprised. You wouldn't be shocked by that.
We don't see that, though.
No.
So why?
I think a lot of it comes down to...
Because there are quite a few teams year after year who probably should get bids but don't.
For me, it comes down to the fact that sometimes with the people that are on the committee that make the tournament up, it's the way I've seen it at least, is they get a team in mind that they think is going to be in the tournament no matter what. That no matter how they play, that team has to be there. UNC last year, UNC Chapel Hill, was a team that probably wasn't supposed to be in the tournament, probably didn't earn that spot, and they showed it in the tournament that they weren't really supposed to be there. But somebody on that committee had the idea that they're supposed to be here, and they get their group to rally around them.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of, with the American, it's like you go into the season thinking that, hey, here's our 3 teams that are going to be in a tournament no matter what. And when 1 or 2 of them doesn't play as well, the committee isn't as open to putting the other schools in, right? If UAB goes on a run or, FAU is good again, or, I'm trying to think of a random FA or American school that's not Charlotte. Let's say North Texas, right?
Yeah.
North Texas wins, every conference game except 1, right? They, lose 2 non-conference games. They're a 3-loss program. But they lose in the first round of the American tournament. They're probably not making.
No, it's over.
But if Memphis did that, Memphis would still get in.
But I don't know though because I think that today, like this season, I think if you're in the American, you almost have to be in that conference final game to even sniff a bid.
What if you?
Because that year we were better than that Temple team and probably should have gotten a bid. It's just all the players had checked out and didn't really care anymore, and B, we lost in the beginning. But there's no reason why we shouldn't have gotten a bid that season because, we probably could have gotten a bid without even winning the tournament.
Yeah,
but we had to have at least made it to the conference championship. I think that even if you make it to the semifinals and you lose in the semifinals, you still, I don't think, have a chance.
What breaks my heart about
I just think you have to, especially in the American. I think similar conferences to the American, and then even a step lower, you have to win, not just compete in, but win your conference tournament to even be able. And even that might not be enough with how biased, rigged, whatever you want to call it.
Are we done pretending that the Big East is that much of a better conference than the American. I mean,
That's
obviously,
true, yeah.
UConn made a whole point out of it, but I mean, outside of UConn and Villanova on even in odd years now for some reason,
Yeah,
and
they
the occasional
alternate.
St. John's is good now for some reason with Pitino, and Providence has had its moments. Same with Georgetown recently, and these other schools, or I guess Creighton is one of them as well. But
Yeah, Creighton. Creighton's been good.
The top half of that
recently.
conference might be better than the American, but the bottom half is not.
Yeah.
But the Big East can still be a 4-bid conference with no issue, and we're not. We're just a 1-bid or a 2-bid. I mean, FAU and Memphis are the standards in this conference.
The American Athletic Conference is the perfect conference for Charlotte.
Yeah.
Because it's the forgotten one. It's the one of people who are like, yeah, the American
Power
Conference.
6.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What conference? The American Conference? Oh.
You know how much I've almost called it the American Athletic this year? Yeah. It's not that. And what's weird is I didn't call it the American Athletic when it was the American Athletic. But I think knowing the name changed
just say
to just the American. Or I love calling it the AAC.
Yeah, I call it AAC sometimes because I can maybe pass it off as the ACC. I don't know, but no, you see what I mean though. You ask most people
it's a forgotten.
It perfectly sums up Charlotte as a school.
Yeah,
it's a forgotten conference. It's a forgotten school in the bottom of a forgotten conference. It's
a rebuild of a rehash. I mean, it's a taking over of the Big East, which was a spinoff of the original Metro Conference, and it's this kind of weird thing where all the good teams that were in the American originally have left to go to bigger conferences. And now we have just the good schools from the Conference USA and a couple other stragglers. It does seem like
half the Conference USA moved up to the American at the same time.
What is this conference's identity? I think that's an issue that Charlotte deals with in sports in general is if you don't know your conference's identity, what is your team's identity? What is your school's identity? And I think we're just kind of stuck in this purgatory.
I think Auburn has the answer. The way he reps the American.
Did we talk about this on air
yet?
Yeah,
we talked about this last time, I think.
I don't think it was on air.
It might not have been on air.
It was not on air.
We definitely talked about it.
I said that Coach Alban wears the American Athletic hat. I just called it American Athletic. Wears an American Conference hat during a lot of the games. And I said that's a pet peeve of mine because why are you repping your conference, man? Rep your team.
Rep the team.
Anyway, we should move on to men's soccer.
Yeah, we can move on to men's soccer and then bring this
bird.
Yeah, what is it? What did we say last time?
Land the bird.
Land the bird, I think it was, yeah.
Gosh, we have
good times. But men's soccer.
Men's soccer they're ranked for
apparently again, I did not know.
Ranked for the 18th consecutive season.
I did not know that. I thought, you know what, that's it. That is, I want to bring up a good point, and we've talked about this on air before, and so I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's crazy that I have to question as a Charlotte student when Spencer told me about that statistic. That he was sitting here and he was reading, he was like, oh, Charlotte soccer has been ranked for 18 consecutive seasons. My first thought was, that's not true. My first thought was, where did you saw that? You saw that on Barstool Niners or something. Like that is not true. And he was like, no, there's multiple posts on the Charlotte men's soccer Instagram page or Twitter page or whatever. And I was like, I couldn't believe that any Charlotte team has been ranked for 18 seasons period, not even consecutive, but just like 18 seasons in general. I genuinely couldn't believe it, and that is so sad. That is so sad that I feel like all Charlotte sports are so bad that when I hear a good statistic about them, I don't even believe it. It's fake.
When I was at the basketball game on, gosh, was that Monday?
Monday, yeah, it was this past Monday.
I don't want to keep saying the wrong day. I already said Monday once. But I'm at the basketball game on Monday, and I got there kind of early so I could get a good seat and be able to, take notes on the team and watch the game without my view obstructed. And I'm sitting there like 35 minutes before the game starts. I'm looking at the banners, and I'm looking around thinking, we made the tournament in 2005. That was like 5 years ago. And then you realize it's 2025.
Yeah.
We haven't been in the tournament in 20 years. The men's soccer team has started a streak of being in the top 25 in that time period.
They were in the
18 years ago.
Final Four last year, lost to NC State.
I think they were
8.
I think it was the Elite 8. But yeah.
Elite 8, yeah.
Regardless. I mean, this is a good program.
Elite 8 equivalent for soccer. I don't know if
Supreme 8.
Yeah, I don't know.
It might have a different word. I think the March Madness names are licensed in a weird way.
We don't
want to get copyright strikes.
The Final Four is literally limited to Charlotte or college Division I basketball.
Yeah,
like not college Division I football. Like it is the Final Four.
It wasn't until a couple years ago that
women because they make it a big deal about it.
The women couldn't use the phrase March Madness.
Yeah.
So anyway, we don't want to get copyright strikes
that's a whole rabbit hole.
We're gonna get some nice letters from Indianapolis coming up here soon.
It'll be some of our first letters. Hey, I'll take them.
Yeah, fan mail
from
the NCAA. It's a cease and desist.
Next episode, we're gonna do a fan unbox.
It's a letter from
fan
Charlie
mail
Baker, the president of the NCAA, tells us
to
you've
been served.
Use the correct verbiage or we will find you. Like, all right, geez, man.
So we open it up. It's just like a lawsuit.
Yeah, men's soccer being good is awesome. But we're at a school where it seems like sports are like a plague, that you can't really believe that they're good.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you mentioned that you were questioning it, because I kind of was quietly questioning it in my head, like 18?
18.
I must have misread that. Much. It must say like 8.
Yeah.
Maybe 8, weeks, maybe?
8 is 8. Yeah, right. 8 consecutive weeks as a ranked team. That I can believe.
I don't know. 8 days? Could it be 8 days?
8 seconds, potentially? We were ranked for 8 seconds?
18 consecutive years.
But yeah.
There is freshmen coming in next year that in their entire life, Charlotte men's soccer has been ranked at some point in their life.
That's wild.
And that's insane. Yeah. And for our football team, I watched a YouTube video last night about unranked teams in the FBS that have never been ranked. Not really surprisingly, but Charlotte obviously made that list.
Well, that also comes down to the program's only 13 years old.
Yeah.
And also college football rankings are near impossible to break into if you are not an SEC team or an ACC team or...
That's why they silenced the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Because it's rigged. Our best record is 7-6, and I think that's okay. Maybe that's fine. Maybe we need to stop having our expectations be.
I think so. Yeah, actually, I think.
If we went 7-6 this year, would you feel that bad?
I'd be doing backflips.
Yeah, if we somehow win, if we win out.
No, if we win out, we're still not going to get 7 though.
And win a bowl.
Will. Yeah, there's 6 games left in the season, right?
Yeah. Let's see. If we somehow end this season 7-6, that includes either a bowl win or a bowl loss.
We have to win tomorrow.
We have to make a bowl somehow. If we play 13 games this year and win 7 of them,
because we could still win 6 too, right? And go to a bowl game. Yeah. So, Albin,
if we make a bowl,
what are we doing?
We're coming in here and we are never going to be negative again.
I'll donate $300 to charity. We make a bowl game this season. I'm saying that on air.
Okay. You heard Blake. He's donating $300, folks. Women's soccer.
It's not happening either.
Women's soccer is also having a pretty good season under their interim coach, Sinead Byrne. She was just made permanent coach last week, actually during our recording of last week's episode. So we didn't get to throw that in there. I saw it pop up after the fact, about like a 30-minute old tweet, and I thought, oh man, we should have mentioned it on air. But we don't look at social media during these because we are in a bubble here. Actually, we're in a studio.
I think there was one thing that happened mid-recording.
God, we weren't recording Wednesday afternoon last week.
No, I was with Sam one time.
Thursday?
It was one of the episodes that I was doing with Sam, and I think somebody got fired as we were sitting.
Was it?
As we were recording, it was a couple years ago.
Hill Wheelie?
No, I don't think so.
We're not saying his name.
That was last week's. Week's shenanigans. Was the
we don't
alter egos of all the callers.
All of our on-air bits are making it on air.
Yeah.
Off-air bits are making on air.
Yeah.
Are we? I don't think we're okay mentally.
I think the show is better off air. We should have 2 segments. We should have 2. We should have.
We have a off the air.
Off the
show.
air, like PG-13 show, and then an on air.
I like going to school. I don't want to change that. I don't want to not go here.
I like going here. I don't like going to the sports games here.
Yeah. I don't want to not be a student
anymore.
When
when you're a student and going to the football game gives you more stress than my exam today.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
I took an exam this week that felt like the football
game. Maybe it's because I go into the football games knowing that there's a chance, but I go into my exams knowing there's no chance. I can't get stressed out if
I took an exam this week that felt like watching a football game.
Yeah.
It felt like, Anyway.
It genuinely actually. Hold on, Have you ever been in an exam? I'm sure every student listening to this can relate. Or alumni who, any student period. If you've ever taken an exam, I'm sure you have this feeling of you sit down, you're prepared, you were studying all night, you're like 4 Red Bulls deep or something like that, or whatever your caffeine of choice is, and you sit down and you've got the formula sheet or whatever, and not a single thing on that piece of paper is what you studied. The formula sheet, I don't even know why they gave it to me. It's just a piece of paper on a table because there's not a single formula that matches up with any of these problems. And you're just sitting there like a fish with your mouth open, like, how did I get to this? How did I get here? I feel like is what. No, but you were so confident walking in there. You were like, I got this. Like, that genuinely is how I feel like every single time I walk into Jerry Richardson. I'm like, bro, let's go. This is the day. We're gonna win. Whoever we're playing isn't even that hard. Like, this chapter is so easy or whatever. Oh, this opponent is so easy. Like, I'm seeing the parallels here. Then I get into the game and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah. Oh my God, we lost by 35.
Yes.
What is going on?
Yes, and that's what happened.
I got a 76 on this.
Seriously, I get the. It's like I see the final score. I see the final score, and it's like I'm looking at my final grade. It's like I'm done. It's like, how did I fail this? How did Charlotte football fail this?
But welcome to the life of being a 49er.
Yeah,
Aren't
so
we
I
glad
think
that this is the life we chose was doing this.
I think that's a pretty good stopping point. We'll just end it on...
everything is disappointing, but some things are good. And honestly...
on the analogy there.
Again, like I said, Friday's game will be the first one I'll be in attendance in person. Maybe this team will look better in person.
Yes, Friday, I believe it's at 7.
Yep, 7, Jerry Richardson Stadium. Be there.
North Texas.
B Square. Oh, my gosh.
Should be kind of...
North Texas. It'll be close.
We'll see.
It'll be close.
Pessimistic me says there's no chance in heck.
For a drive, it'll be close,
like, hey,
my friend.
I think this could be a sneaky little
It's got to start 0-0.
Yeah. Well, we'll stay tuned. I hope we see you there if you see us there. You finally know what we look like now. Yeah. So
I'm sorry if we let you down.
This is the face reveal for both of us.
Oh yeah, it is. We go to the school.
They've been listening to me for 2 years, and nobody has known what I look like. So
I have my face is the logo of my own personal podcast. If you see me at the game on Friday,
high five.
Let me know what you think about us. Let me know what you think about this.
We're currently working on potentially getting something set up where you guys can submit ideas and or hot takes or whatever that we discuss on air. So we'll keep you tuned.
We're ready for it. If your hot take is that there shouldn't be a football program,
that's not a hot take.
Not a hot take anymore.
And with that being said, we'll wrap up this episode. It was an absolute pleasure. I'm glad we were able to get video. Yeah, it always is.
Okay.
And I'm glad that we were able to get video working. But stay tuned for the next episode, and we will see you all in the next episode of the Niner Sports Talk podcast.